It's Danielle from Rosetta Vera. Today we're going to talk about these Artistro paint pens, multi-surface paint pens. These are water-based, non-toxic markers. I picked these up on Amazon. So they're supposed to be usable on glass, ceramic, porcelain, wood, rubber, metal, fabric, stone, paper, and more. So I said I was going to try to look at these today. Let's see. Oh, okay. And try to swatch them for you. I was trying to figure out what could I swatch them on, since probably on paper they're just going to leak through. I'm going to try to swatch them on paper and just put something behind it, and then also try to swatch them on plastic. I'm reading here that it says for glass and ceramic, apply on a clean surface, let paint dry, and then place in an unheated oven. Heat on 310 to 355 and bake for 1 hour, and then let cool in the oven. So it sounds like you can bake the paint into ceramic and glass. You just can't put the stuff in the dishwasher afterwards because it's not dishwasher safe, and you also can't use it near food. So that's a quick overview. Let me open these up. So as I said, there are 12 markers in the box. These are much smaller than I thought they would be. I have some chalk markers which are much thicker. So you have 12 markers. You have another one of them. Their I Am Creative, What's Your Superpower stickers. This came in their watercolor set also. You have your social media information where you can get some how-to videos and step-by-step instructions. And there's some other items they carry, like acrylic paint pens, brush paint pens. And then here's some instructions. So it's telling you to follow these instructions for best results. So to activate the markers, it's telling you to shake well with the cap on. Make sure you hear the ball inside. Remove the cap. Press lightly on the tip to let air out. It's a pump action paint pen, so make sure you prime the pens first. Let's see. It says if paint isn't coming down, try to press and hold the tip for 20 to 30 seconds, and it says test the ink on a piece of paper before starting a project. All right, and make sure you recap. So just some other basic things. There's things again about how to cure the ink when you're working on glass, ceramic, and porcelain. And I think that's about it. Oh, here's something about painting on rocks. Make sure the paint is dry before applying sealant. So you're basically going to paint on the rocks with the markers and then apply sealant to keep the paint on the surface. There's also some instructions about fabric, but I think that's about it. So, you know me, let me try to put these in some kind of Roy G. Biv order, and then we'll start swatching them. All right, so there we go. So looking at the first marker, I'm trying to see if the color name is on the marker, because these do have color names. I am not seeing a color name on the marker, but you do see Artistro multi-surface quick drying paint marker pen and an ultra fine point. Again, it says to shake well with the cap on, but there are no color names. It says water-based. So I'm going to look at the box. It's probably the best way for me to figure out the color names. So I think this first one is pink 225C. So let me get out a pad. And then we can start trying to figure these out. All right, so let's look at the tip. So there's your ultra fine tip. Is that what we said? Extra fine tip. So I have an old lid here from one of my little tub storage units. So I'm going to use that to kind of start pumping the color out. So there you go. It's pretty fluid. It's not as wet as I thought it was going to be for a paint pen. It's definitely not going through the paper. But I would definitely have something nearby to kind of pump the colors out, because you saw that blob up on the plastic. So that's the first color, pink. And that's 225C. Next we have red. So right now they're not taking a lot of effort to pump them out. They are coming out pretty fluid. The tip is very, very stiff. I'll be honest, I wish the tip wasn't an extra fine tip. But I think it depends on how I plan on using these. I may be happy that it's an extra fine tip. So they're taking about 2 pumps to come out. So here you have orange. That's orange 1495C. And that red was 032C. Now, as I'm pumping out these colors on the plastic, it does make me wonder how this works on plastic because of how wet it is. Because that paint is still wet on those other colors. This is yellow 114C. So while it's drying down on the paper, it's definitely not drying down on the plastic. And then we have green 347C. My thought when buying these was decorating some terracotta plant pots. But I'm not so sure. I think because of the ultra fine tips, I think I have to think about it more. So that was green. I'm now opening up blue 300C. You know, the colors are nice and primary. These are very strong primary colors. Then we have This is purple to 67C. Like I said, they're about 3 pumps before they come out all the way. I would say if you were using these on plastic, please keep that moisture in mind. Like, watch where you put your hands so that you're not putting your hands in paint while you're working. Make sure you put it somewhere separate to dry. And definitely give it ample time to dry. So now I think this is black. There's no number for black. Then we have brown. Brown is fighting me a little bit more about coming out. This brown is actually very, very light. I apologize for all the shadows you're getting. It's that time of day. Then we have gold. No, and if you're looking at the plastic, you see the red finally dried, but the orange is still a little wet. The blue and the purple is still a little wet. Here's our gold. Next we have our silver. And finally, we have our white. So those are all 12 colors of the Artistro paint pens. It's a good sampling of primary colors. So it's a good basics kit. So I do like the colors. I do like the paint that's in the markers. I'm not a big fan of the actual tip. It is very, 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 very firm. And that's something to keep in mind. That being said, I do think that that tip is needed depending on the medium that you're working on. Like, I bought these to do something with terracotta pots, and I think that firm tip would be nice on that texture of terracotta pots, because it'll allow you to keep precise lines. So I think that's good. Hey, just wanted to pop in real quick as I'm editing this video. I thought of another way to use the pens. Because you can bake the pens to cure them on ceramic, it made me think of Shrinky Dink paper and how you can use them maybe on Shrinky Dink paper. and, you know, make keychains and earrings and things like that. So that may be another way to utilize them. I may have to test them and see if the paint cracks, because, you know, shrinky dink paper shrinks down when you put it in the oven. So I may have to check and see if the shrinky dink paper cracks as it's baking down. But that was another thing I thought of that you could probably use these pens for. So let me play with that a little bit. All right, back to the video. I definitely wouldn't use these on paper, even though I don't think there's any bleed through here. There's a little bit of ghosting, but not really, maybe like one tiny dot of bleed through. And I think that's more about how wet was the marker when I put it on the paper. So there's not really a lot of bleed through. Using this on plastic, as you can tell, the ink is still kind of sitting up on some of the letters, and it does take a while to dry down. You'll notice like the white, didn't really play nice on the plastic. So I don't know if I would recommend this for use on plastic. I feel like it would smear. I also feel like even after it dries down, I don't know how permanent it would be. I don't know if it's something that you could just kind of wash off if necessary. I do think the paint will go into porous surfaces, like I said, with the terracotta pots or wood, fabric. Let's see what else is here. Probably wood, fabric. Actually, plastic isn't on here, so maybe I'm complaining about plastic and that's not really on surfaces. Popping in here again to say, if you're towards the end of this video, you realize that it didn't say it would work on plastic. That was my bad. But one of the things I was thinking of is, because the paint does pull up on the plastic, you could possibly dip a paintbrush in it and use the paint that way. I'm not recommending that. I'm just saying, like, if you want to use the pens in a different way, you could, you know, pump them on the plastic, use the plastic like as a palette, and paint with the paint that is in the pens, if you want to be able to use the paint in different ways. Okay, just wanted to add that. Bye. Probably stone would be fine. Again, it's that texture you're looking for. I am curious how this would play on glass and ceramics and porcelain, because of my experience on the plastic. I don't know how these would work on a smoother surface. Would it give you the dry down that you need, or is that why you need to bake it in to make sure that it's setting in? But for what I paid for them, and you know me, I'll put the price here. I don't think they're a bad set of markers. I am curious how long they would last, because even though they felt relatively juicy, they are paint markers, and it would suck to kind of be working on a project and have them die on you. So I think that's everything I want to say. I think also, the other thing I would just point out is that they're non-toxic, which my memory of markers like this when I was a kid is that they were definitely toxic. So that's good that they're non-toxic. And I think that's pretty much it for this set. Tell me what your thoughts are looking at them. How would you use them? Do you see a use for them in your projects? Like I said, my experience, paint markers are usually bigger, so this extra fine point is something different. You could do more delicate work, but tell me your thoughts. As always, thank you for spending time with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.